Everyone is using AI to build their courses right now. And I am going to tell you why most of them are going to fail. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and I have been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. Okay, so I am going to start this with, I do actually use AI to support me in course creation. I just don't ask AI to create the whole course or to create the course structure. Because one, when you're asking AI to create a course, it's pulling from the internet. It's pulling from whatever knowledge base it can. And so we end up with one, typically just course content, right? And if you have been following me for a while, you know that course content means jack shit in terms of learning. We can't just pour information into our heads. We need actual action. When we do have content in our courses, when we ask AI to generate it for us, it tends to just be surface level, right? We're not giving something that somebody can't go and get off of Google or AI themselves. And so if people can start taking the topic that you're doing and going and asking AI to just give them that information, then you have a topic that's not nuanced enough, that isn't taking into consideration not just what you want to teach, but what others want to learn. Because AI also tends to kind of repeat itself to everybody, right? So if you think about certain phrases that we know AI likes to use, or that the poor M dash or the poor Oxford comma, all of a sudden AI started using it in what it was telling everybody. There's a phrase that I've been seeing that is similar to something I used to use and now I don't use it. And that's, but here's the thing, right? I used to say that, but now I see it in AI generated posts and I stay away from it, right? People will be able to tell that your course is just like all of the others because AI is giving you the same idea that it's giving everyone else. So that's kind of what AI generated courses are doing. So what can't AI do? Unless you have taken the entire body of knowledge and research in learning science and instructional design and uploaded it into its knowledge base, it can't do instructional design. And I know because I've tried. I have tried to get it to act like an instructional designer or act like a learning experience designer or act like an instructional designer that knows how to do user experience, right? These are all things that I know how to do. And while every once in a while it'll give me an idea that sparks a better idea, it has yet to be able to recreate the process of coming up with a well-designed course. So it can't do instructional design. It can't get to the core problem that your course is solving for someone else because it doesn't know what the core problem is. Even if it's been given data about the kinds of problems people come to you with, right? It still is just pulling from that information. It's not asking them live. It's not going and pulling information from, the way they're interacting with algorithms. It's not getting real life up-to-date information. It can't create meaningful activities. So these are activities that build on each other to get to a goal and actually help with the transformation. It has helped me with taking an activity and developing another option for that activity. So, for example, taking a list of questions that I've chunked up and making it into a spreadsheet, right? It does that beautifully because it's taking the thing that I already have and it's enhancing it. And it really can't replace the validation process. So I have seen a whole bunch of buy this ChatGPT, it will help you validate your idea based on our framework. But it is also not actually asking real people. It's still using whatever framework these people typically use and putting that as the knowledge base to know whether or not it's going to work. That framework and that knowledge base is based on past experiences of courses. And if you've been following me and you've watched my series on why people don't trust courses anymore, that's exactly what we don't want to do, right? We don't want to assume that what's worked before is going to work now. That's what gets you into trouble. And AI is constantly using what's already been done. Okay, so I've already covered this a little bit, but what does AI actually help with? So it's really good at brainstorming and idea generation. So if you have, an idea about a type of activity, it can give you feedback. Or you can ask it for a list of 10 different ways I can have people do this step. It will give you 10 different ways. And then you pick something that feels like it's a productive way to get to whatever the next step is. You can have it generate some first drafts of your content. I still think that it's not great at developing activities on its own because it just doesn't understand human learning. But once you have the activity and you need to create the content that will help you, it's not bad at a first draft. You just need to make sure that you go back in and fill it in with the expertise that's going to be missing. It is also pretty good at organizing information you already have. Now, it doesn't always see the things, right? So like I have a project where I have a bunch of things uploaded and it will tell me it can't find a very specific file name that I have given it, just because. And then the next day, maybe it can find it, but maybe it's a different file that it can't find, right? And so you can have it help you do some organizing, but always double check its work, right? I already mentioned generating the variables for examples. So you can ask it to pull it out and make it a document, or ask it to think about recreating it for someone who's more visual. I also use it all the time with my videos. Like this video, I'm going to be taking it and I'm going to be using speech to text. That is AI. And then going in and changing up the text. I also take my transcripts and I put it in AI and I ask it to give me a timestamp table of contents for my YouTube channel. Right? And so if you're creating a course where you are using YouTube and your videos are maybe a little longer than they should be, it's not a bad way to get it always tested, but it's not a bad way to help take out some of the grunt work parts of creating video and creating courses and creating the activities. So I have said multiple times that I do use AI in my process, but I use it after I've done kind of the instructional design thinking, the instructional design work. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that activity example I gave you. It was an activity to help create a marketing plan, right? And so I take the who, what, where, when, why, and how approach in building this. And so I had the 5 W's and an H listed out, and under each one, I have a list of questions. And I just wrote this up in a Google document. It's one of the ways that people can complete the activity, but I didn't want it to be the only way, right? Because I know sometimes, especially when I have a lot of answers or questions that I'm answering, I like to have things in a spreadsheet so that I feel like I can manipulate it and better see the whole picture. Okay, so I asked AI to give me a script for a Google Sheet using all of the same questions and structure word for word. And so when I tell it to do something word for word, that means it doesn't change my language, right? I didn't want it to ask the questions differently. I just wanted it to reformat it into a different structure. When it did that, it color coded each W and the H. It organized it so that the table actually looked pretty. And then on the right column, I had some questions where there was like additional information to be able to answer the question. It pulled those into a separate column called notes. So it did a really good job of taking this thing that was just a running list of questions to answer with the notes built into the question and make it something that is, if your brain works on spreadsheets, it's easily digestible. Now, I did double check to make sure I had them on both screens, and I looked to make sure that everything that was in the Google Sheet was also what was in my document. And I cover using AI in my membership. So for places where they might struggle with a particular thing, I have created and tested prompts for them to go and try, and then to take the response and work with it. And so it becomes not just go dump this into AI, it becomes use AI as a springboard, or use AI as a check, or use AI in this way, so that we make sure that we're keeping the machine in the loop instead of creating something where the human has just been kept in the loop. And when we do that, we start to create this really good balance of using AI for efficiency and human labor, right, for effectiveness. If you want deeper dives into incorporating AI into your course creation workflow, if you want to use AI to speed things up without sacrificing course quality, I've built AI into the workflows in the Course Maker membership. The link is in the description. In the next series, I'm going to be covering the BS that is the course creator industry statistics.